Why should I use gloves? We hope this video helps you understand why you should use gloves. PFM, bringing the pieces together. Are you at risk? Take a look at these headlines. What would happen to one of those operators if they were implicated in a foodborne illness outbreak? It's highly likely there would be a significant loss of sales and the strong possibility of a closure, at least temporarily. In any economy, it is difficult for an operation to recover from a foodborne illness outbreak. In today's marketplace, it could be a fatal blow. What are the latest statistics on foodborne illness? About 48 million people, 1 in 6 Americans, get sick from foodborne illness. 128,000 are hospitalized. 3,000 die each year from foodborne diseases, according to new estimates from the Centers for Disease Control. About 90% of estimated illnesses, hospitalizations, and deaths were due to 7 pathogens. The most hospitalizations and deaths were from Salmonella. Nearly 60% of estimated illnesses, but a much smaller proportion of severe illnesses, less deaths, was caused by a tiny little bug called norovirus. More later on that. You may ask yourself, who has the ultimate food safety responsibility? Is it the producer, the grower, the manufacturer, the distributor, or the operator? All share in this responsibility. But a significant share of the responsibility for providing safe food rests with the retail and the food service operators. How can you effectively reduce foodborne illnesses? It's simple, by having active managerial control by the person in charge, PIC, and their management team. By incorporating specific actions or procedures to attain control over risk factors. By preventing rather than reacting to food safety issues. Are you the PIC, person in charge? The CDC, Center for Disease Control, identified 5 of the most significant contributing factors directly relating to foodborne illness. Number 1, food from unsafe sources. Number 2, inadequate cooking. Number 3, improper holding temperatures. Number 4, contaminated equipment. Number 5, the big one, poor personal hygiene. Can you control your risks? Then you must have control over this. Let's focus on that last risk factor, personal hygiene and hands. Better known as, to know me is to wash hands and glove me. The FDA Food Code says, no bare hand contact with ready-to-eat foods. What are ready-to-eat foods? Handling is the big risk factor of poor personal hygiene. Data from the Environmental Health Specialist study showed that there were 2 main contributing factors that led to foodborne illness in food service establishments. They are ill workers and bare hand contact with ready-to-eat food. The common link that connects these 2 factors is hand washing. Correct hand washing is critical. Food worker behavior and motivation is a large part of this issue. We cannot guarantee that workers wash their hands when they should and use the correct method. So food managers need some additional insurance by using multiple barriers. You want to achieve barrier protection. This can be accomplished by the combining 2 or more methods: hand soaps, hand sanitizers, nail brushes, dispensers for these products, gloves where appropriate. No one barrier method is perfect, but in combination, we have a better chance to reduce the risk. So why all the fuss about hand washing? What's on those nasty fingertips? The fingertips and under the nails is where you'll find 80 to 90% of the bacteria and viruses that cause foodborne illness. Why there? It's the dreaded fecal-oral route. If a food service worker is carrying these pathogens in their intestines and does not thoroughly wash hands after using the restroom, the bugs stay on the fingertips and hands. These pathogens can then easily move from the hands to the foods being prepared. The importance of hand drying. Microbiological studies show that using paper towels helps remove bacteria from hands and reduces bacterial counts by 58%. Hand dryers, on the other hand, significantly increase bacterial counts by a factor of over 4 times. Hot air dryers are the worst offenders in spreading bacteria, with studies showing a 500% increase of bacteria found on the hands after hot air drying, as opposed to the same hands immediately after washing, a 42% reduction in bacteria after drying with a paper towel, and a 10% reduction after using a cotton towel. The problem with hot air dryers is that they draw in air from the immediate toilet environment in order to blow it out again in a more concentrated form. The filters within the mechanism act as a major source for bacteria that blow directly onto the hands, clothes, face, and hair. The nozzles and buttons are also a major source of bacteria, as is every other touchable object in a restroom. Paper towels help brush off and remove germs loosened by washing. Electric dryers take more time than using a paper towel. The average time to achieve 95% dryness is 12 seconds with a paper towel versus 43 seconds with a hot air dryer. Few people use hot air dryers long enough to ensure more than 55 to 65% dryness. Hands and norovirus tidbits. There's 100,000 bacteria living on each hand, some good, resident bacteria, and some bad, transient pathogens. If norovirus is there, viruses are 1,000 times smaller than bacteria, and the dose of norovirus needed to make someone sick is less than 100 viral particles. Large norovirus outbreaks have become quite common in food service establishments, including quick-serve restaurants, schools, cruise ships, nursing homes, etc. Hand washing and barriers such as utensils, gloves, and food wraps help reduce bacterial and viral transmission to food. FYI, more poor personal hygiene tidbits. Viruses such as norovirus and hepatitis A are directly related to hand contamination from human feces or vomit, the hand, fecal, oral route of foodborne illness transmission. If an ill food worker makes a bathroom stop and doesn't wash hands at all or well enough, we call that very icky fingers. Toilet paper is not enough to prevent transmission to fingertips. Recent outbreaks have also shown that noroviruses may be transmitted via droplets in the air several feet away from an ill person who has vomited already. Vomiting is usually the first symptom without feeling sick before. Why isn't hand washing enough? The Environmental Health Specialists Network, EHS Network, which is a collaboration between the CDC, National Center for Environmental Health, FDA's Center for Food Safety and Applied Nutrition, the USDA, and 9 states. After conducting site visits at 50 food service establishments in each of those states, these results were compiled. They found that appropriate hand washing occurred less than 30% of the times it should have. Hand washing and glove use were more likely to occur with food preparation than with other activities, when workers were not busy. Hand washing was more likely to occur in restaurants, where food workers had received food safety training with more than one hand sink, with a hand sink in the food worker's site. What's happening with gloves? The CDC EHS network findings were that glove use was more likely to occur in restaurants that were part of a chain, where glove supplies, size, and location were accessible in food preparation areas. Hand washing and glove use are related. Less hand washing can occur with activities where gloves are worn, so training and monitoring of food workers is a must-do to lessen the risk. Why all the fuss about hand washing? Hands are the most common mode of transmission for pathogens. Remember, hand washing does not eliminate the need for gloves. Gloving does not eliminate the need for hand washing. Consider gloving as another form of insurance. So how can you help? Help your team to be proactive rather than reactive. Teach about the fecal-oral route as the link between ill workers, bare hand contact, and lack of hand washing. Teach proper hand washing. Teach proper gloving as an effective barrier between hands and food. Consider gloving as another form of insurance. Encourage manager food safety certification. The presence of a Certified Kitchen Manager, CKM, was the major distinguishing factor between outbreak and non-outbreak restaurants. Glove training tidbits. Change gloves periodically and wash and dry hands each time. Change gloves after sneezing, coughing, or touching your hair or face. Always wear gloves over a bandage if you have a bandage, infection, cut, or sore, and temporarily avoid direct food handling duties. Remove disposable gloves correctly. Grasp at the cuff and peel them off inside out. This will help to prevent contamination of hands. FDA Food Code states that workers wearing artificial nails or fingernail polish must wear disposable gloves. Again, use multiple barriers for safer hand hygiene. Hand washing is the primary barrier. Install multiple hand sinks in convenient locations if you remodel or build. Utensils. A wide variety of unique utensils can handle foods. Research it. Paper wraps, bags, or food containers. Hand sanitizers, nail brushes. Educate staff and don't expect everyone knows the correct way to wash hands. Involve them in the process, even veteran food workers. The right gloves. Remember, they are task-specific. Be proactive. Strong illness policy. Employees report symptoms to PIC, person in charge. Vomiting, diarrhea, sore throat with fever, jaundice, and infected wounds. PIC report confirmed foodborne illness cases to Health Department. Salmonella typhi, Shigella, hepatitis A, norovirus, E. coli 0157H7. Enforce hand washing. No bare hand contact with RTE foods. Your state's No Bare Hands regulation. For more information on gloves, please contact us at www.pfmonline.com. PFM, bringing the pieces together.